The American Civil War of the 1860s saw Confederate forces in the South determined to cling to slavery, battle against the Union armies of the North. The Unionists eventually won, and years later, an amendment was added to the US Constitution to disqualify any Confederate rebels from ever holding office in Washington, D.C. Fast forward to January 2021, and with the Confederate flag still flying, pro-Trump supporters, desperate to prevent the certification of Joe Biden as president, unleashed the most violent domestic attack on the US Capitol since that Civil War. The question now, should those who led the attempted insurrection, potentially including the former President Donald Trump himself, be disqualified under the exact same amendment from ever standing for office? The National Archives Office here in Washington, D.C. houses the original US Constitution and an amendment, number 14, that has a section that states that no person who's ever sworn an oath to protect the Constitution should ever be allowed to hold office if they have engaged in rebellion or insurrection or provided aid or comfort to enemies of the state. And it's on that basis that many people now believe that Donald Trump should be disqualified from ever holding office again. It's a theory that's been gaining traction among voters and advocacy groups who are bringing lawsuits using the 14th Amendment to attempt to disqualify Trump from standing for office. In Colorado, a group of voters filed a lawsuit to attempt to compel their Secretary of State to bar Trump's name from the state's presidential ballot for 2024. A similar legal challenge was brought in Minnesota this week, as New Hampshire's Republican Attorney General said they were reviewing the legal issues involved, and the top election official in Arizona said he was doing the same. Trump dismisses it all as yet more political interference. Others say the law is too arcane to use. But this constitutional lawyer argues the exact opposite.
The 14th Amendment is a robust part of the American Constitution. Now, this particular section of the Constitution, the fact that it hasn't been robustly utilized raises an important question, and that is why. It is that most people have had good sense not to try to overthrow the government. But I think that these matters get entangled when one says, well, the 14th Amendment Section 3 is just about people's distaste of Donald Trump. No, it's actually about the United States, and the United States being a country that has respect for the Constitution.
Yet some Democrats in Congress seem wary of going down this path.
I want people to turn out at the ballot box, and frankly, in some respects, if Donald Trump is the Republicans' nominee, you know, that's their nominee. But I do have mixed feelings about it.
If he actually is convicted on either federal or state level charges, I think that dramatically increases the argument that this is not a person that should be running for president. But we'll see on the legal and constitutional grounds what is possible.
Republicans are dismissing it out of hand. Do you think it's going to get used, the 14th Amendment? Do you think it should be used?
Goodbye.
I don't think it's viable at all.
Can you just tell me why?
Of course. First of all, he didn't do anything that they're alleging him to do. Second of all, he hasn't been found guilty of it.
Remember, if Donald Trump is found guilty and convicted in any of his 4 criminal cases, that won't stop him from becoming president. But it would certainly add weight to those looking to use the 14th Amendment to oust him once and for all.
I did everything right.